Hey, Jonie Buckley here from Divinely Driven with your Mission Driven Moment. Let's talk about being an ambassador of Christ today. Let's unpack that. What does that mean? Well, Paul told the Corinthians in 2 Corinthians 5, verse 20, that we are therefore Christ's ambassadors. So that means that we serve the King of the kingdom of God, and the King is King Jesus. He is the one that we give our allegiance to, that we bow to, that we serve. Also, let me back up for a second. If you're not familiar with the kingdom of God, like I wasn't for many years, I encourage you to hop on over to our website, divinelydrivenministry.com. Click on the Living Intentionally tab, and there you'll find Kingdom of God. There are some really beautifully written pieces there that will help to bring greater understanding as to what the kingdom of God truly is. So, back to King Jesus, who's the King of the kingdom, the one that we serve. We get to be his ambassadors, which means that we are official representatives of the King. And so in order to represent our King well, it's going to require some things of us. One of those big things is it's going to require that we know the King. We don't want to represent a false king or the wrong king. We always want to represent the one true King. So that means that we are continuously growing our relationship with Jesus. We are coming into a greater understanding of who he is each and every day. And we can only do that by spending time with him, spending time in his word to learn about who he is, to hear from him, to listen to him, to share with him, to pray to him, building that relationship with him. He so desires that. And then secondly, it's also going to require that we die to ourselves. We say this a lot in this ministry, and we recall what Jesus said in Luke 9:23 about dying to ourselves. Luke 9:23 says, "Then he, Jesus, said to the disciples, 'If anyone would come after me, he must deny himself, take up his cross daily, and follow me.'" This is a continuous lifestyle of dying to ourselves. And the reason for that is, as an ambassador for Christ, it means that we are going to have to realize that our life ceases to be our own. It also means that our lives no longer belong to us for our own fulfillment, but rather they belong to the King. I'm going to say that one more time because that's a tough statement to swallow and to say, that our lives no longer belong to us for our own fulfillment, but rather to the King as an ambassador for Jesus. It's going to require that we ask this question: how can I best represent the King? We're going to ask this question consistently. We're going to ask that question: how can I best represent the King to this person that's before me in this moment? How can I best represent the King in my current situation, under these circumstances? And also, this is a full-time lifestyle. Being an ambassador of Christ is not a 9-to-5 job. It's not something that we just do as we worship in church on Sundays, or maybe attend a Bible study or small group, or just while we're praying. This is a continuous lifestyle. It means that we are ambassadors of Jesus Christ when we're in the valley, just as much as when we're on the mountaintop. It means that we are ambassadors and representing him well, even when we don't feel like it, even when we're tired, even when we are in a really tough situation. We continue to keep our eyes on him and remember that he is our hope, and we represent him well. There are some pitfalls to watch out for, and I'll share mine. For example, I tend to very easily make myself a little mini king over my own little kingdom, and that's very easy to do. I don't want to surrender that. And so the danger of that is that while my lips may be praying, as Jesus taught us to pray, that God's kingdom come and God's will be done, that really my actions are revealing that I'm saying Jonie's kingdom come and Jonie's will be done. And so when I do that, I am very much driven by my own will and desire, and I'm looking to satisfy the cravings of my own heart rather than surrendering those and giving those up to God so that he can use me fully. Also, when we think of our lives as our own, then we are more committed to serving our own purposes than we are to serving the purposes of the King. We have to always be mindful of that. So ambassadors must die to their own kingship in order to properly represent the one true King. How are you representing the one true King today?